Hey guys, it's the Rookie Critic here, and I still have some drawings that I did not share with you guys yet, and I kind of feel like just getting them out of the way and sharing them with you guys. Now, back in the day, maybe a couple years ago, I'd say around 2013 or 2014, I was trying to think about ideas for an alien planet. I wanted to write a script where people go to a different alien planet, and I was thinking what type of wildlife would be on that planet. So, for quite a while, I was mostly thinking about the environment and what type of animals we'd run into. These aren't even really essential to the story. These are just the type of things I would want us to see if we were going to a new alien world. So, for quite a while, I was brainstorming ideas, and let's take a look at one of the first ones I created. Not the first one, but one of the first, and that is the Splug. Yes, the Splug. And this is the top view from if you're looking down on it from overhead up high, and this is the side view, of course. So up here, so if you can tell, it's a slug thing, but I'm just calling it a splug because it's kind of like a plant, animal, slug thing, whatever. It has plants on it, flowers for part of the disguise, and it's, moves kind of along the surface, kind of through the surface, kind of like a graboid, kind of, but it's not really below the dirt, just kind of with the dirt. And it's got little sharp, pokey things to poke on animals when they come to pass through or they're trying to eat the plants. And the little poker things that it has draws blood, and the blood is kind of what feeds it. It's not anyone's specific blood. I mean, it also takes up, its mouths are all on the back as well. I didn't draw the mouths, but they're like little spore things, little tiny holes to take in liquid, so it can take water, blood, whatever, pretty much, and that'll feed it. And it doesn't need too much, but it does need a lot of water, actually, so that the plants can survive on its back. It's got to refuel them in a way. And if you do eat them, I mean, they don't really hurt them, but if you were to uproot one of these plants, oof, that would definitely hurt the little guy. But that's pretty much all the thought that I put into a splug. Now I'm going to shift it over to a few smaller ones that I came up with way later. These were not early designs at all. This was quite a while. I was trying to have littler things to draw because I was getting kind of tired with coloring everything the way that I was. So I tried to make a bullet fly. Like I said, I'm trying to be creative, so trying to do ones that you wouldn't think of or see on Earth. So the bullet fly basically propels itself. I'm not exactly sure how, whether it's through farting or whatever, but somehow it propels itself into the air, and then when it goes and dive bombs, it goes as straight as possible, and it's got a sharp little nose at the front, and when it sticks into its prey or whatever, it starts to eat from there. And I don't know how it gets out, especially if it doesn't kill the thing, then it might probably get killed, but I didn't think too far into what scenarios would play out, of course. And then down here we have the hurricane puff, which is a non-carnivorous creature. It's just a thing that kind of floats around, gets pushed by the air, whatever pockets of, gas might be coming out of the planet. Animals, kind of knock them around sometimes. They just gather the oxygen or whatever is in the atmosphere. And that's pretty much all that it is. Nothing complex, just a simple little floating puff thing that is an animal. Now right here we have the tentacloid. Don't ask me how I came up with it. Alright, well, I'll tell you how I came up with it. So I started with this design over here. Now I try to imagine it without the tentacles, and that kind of looks like a UFO, or a drawing of a UFO. This was the first alien attempt drawing for like an alien on a different planet that I was doing, and I was just thinking of space and drew a UFO, and then I was like, hey, that can kind of look like an animal almost. So I drew eyes on the things that would be the lights, and then I added tentacles, and then at some point I thought, where would its mouth be? And it must be on the bottom. And then I'm thinking, well, that's kind of a big dome shape, so that might as well be its head, its brain. Oh wait, maybe it is an intelligent creature. Maybe it's one of the smart ones, comparable to humans on that planet. Maybe it's the intelligent life, and maybe it can do more than just be on its tentacles. I didn't know if this would be a water creature, or I wanted it to be a forest creature. So I was thinking, maybe its dome is a little too big for its brain, so here we go. Have its little brain on the inside, and have this all be like a parachute. And have that be a parachute creature. It can climb a tree. It's like a squid that can climb a tree. It's like a squid that can climb a tree and then pounce on its prey and then eat from down here. This one would be kind of a, or would be an omnivore where it can eat meat or plants. I drew a picture one time of it eating goo or something. This one was pretty much one of my favorite ones to draw because it is a unique look, and it does kind of look like it would be on an alien planet. And if you see down here, this is what the mouth would look like on the bottom. 4 flaps for the mouth and just nothing particular under here. I wasn't sure if there should be, trust me, I think of detail and I was like, should there be a sexual organ on this for male or female? And I just thought, who fucking cares? How about no? And maybe its mouth is its organ too. I don't care. It doesn't need to. I didn't think about where an ass would be on this at all. I don't know how it's supposed to excrete it, maybe through the air somehow, maybe little vents, and it just excretes the stuff. I don't know. I didn't think about that type of anatomy. I just wanted it to look kind of cool, and I think that I succeeded. You let me know what you think about that. I'm going to switch it over to another drawing. And now we are moving over to the creatures that I wasn't sure should either be an evolution over like many generations or possible metamorphosis stages. Now I was kind of thinking like Pokemon, like how they can evolve and maybe, as it, keeps on going through its different life cycles that it, has all these different stages. But then I was thinking these all look too different and these could be a lot of good creatures to put on the planet, but I don't really know. I don't really know what the actual specifics would be. Maybe they're all different creatures, but from the same family. Who knows? So this little arrow snake over here is, its head is shaped like an arrow, and it is a snake. And if you can guess how it attacks its prey, it pokes it like that. Pokes it to kill them. And I think one of the things I was thinking was, I think I even drew a picture once, was after it kills its prey, it drills itself. No. And then over here we have the arrow rat, where, this would basically be the size of a rodent, and the features on these creatures will be they all have 3 legs, so after it becomes a snake, it will be a 3-legged creature from forever on, and it's pretty much the same thing as the arrow snake, but it's got 3 legs and an arrowhead, and, will poke you to eat you. Pokes little prey and eats it. That's all it does, really, and nothing too clever to elaborate on with that. These ones, though, get a little more interesting. So this kind of looks like a spider. It's the arrow spider, but it is not an arachnid type thing. It is still an actual animal, still an actual creature with flesh and bones. It just has the appearance of an arachnid thing. It can stand up real big, and it can, kind of use its legs to propel itself, to jab you with its arrow face, and, it doesn't shoot any webs or anything out, but it can climb really well. It can squeeze into spaces real nice, even though it's this would be more around the size of a cat or a small dog. So it, pretty useful with that. I think its face is an arrow still and can plow right through the prey. And then right here is where it gets really different, and this is the arrow glider. Let me move it in the center a little bit. So with this stage, by the way, I don't have an evolution for how they get to this. Maybe they get into a cocoon, maybe they don't, I have no idea. But with this, now it has the ability to fly. So it's basically, like, these are its actual legs, and it's, kind of like the rat, but it's, a little smaller than this guy, really, with these flaps down. It has, these come out of its sides. These would normally be down here, and it could just walk around normal with its long legs. But it's very light. This creature would be pretty light, kind of like a butterfly, even though it's pretty big. And, it'd be able to get its prey by gliding around and swooping it up. So that's all the thought I put into that guy. And 2 more stages here for this type of thing. Now we've got, there we go. We got the arrow sprinter, and there we go. All right, so we've got the arrow sprinter and the arrow head. Yes, these are very clever names, I know, but with the Arrow Sprinter, that is more around the size of a dog, and, it sprints and can get its prey, kind of like a cheetah or something, just, hunting down gazelle, but it doesn't hunt down gazelle, it hunts down other alien creatures, of course. And then this dude is supposed to be the epic one of all. He is like a dinosaur-sized, huge, long neck, I forget if they're called plesiosaurs or plachiosaurus. I feel like I'm getting the names wrong. But, one of those, I call them the long necks. It's like one of the long neck creatures, but it's got 3 legs and an arrow face still, which it does. This one is more of a herbivore, but it can plow through trees, it can plow through prey that attack it, and it's still an omnivore, so it can still eat meat, but it typically goes for the grass because it's easier to eat off of. It's less of a risk because there are other creatures that can kill it. So that is this whole little, arrow based animals that I drew for the alien planet.